Hello guys, this is your channel TFD coming back with another absolute banger. And today, oh boy, it looks like Andrea Carter and Lexi Brown have officially lost the plot. These two are out here claiming that Caitlin Clark is not the reason women's basketball exploded. It looks like the duo hopped on the Full Circle podcast and decided to rewrite history, like we all just developed collective amnesia. According to them, Caitlin Clark is not the reason women's basketball exploded. Yep, that's the argument. That's the rant. And honestly, this might be one of the most delusional conversations I've ever heard in my entire life. Bro, I swear I lost at least 3 good brain cells listening to this. The nonsense coming out of this conversation? Legendary. You're telling me that the reason women's basketball grew in the 2024 NCAA tournament is because Chinyam Wugmi and Andrea Carter were covering it? Lexi Brown, have you lost your damn mind? Andrea, for you to nod your head like this makes sense, you must have hit your head on something sharp. Did one of the snakes from your hair tutorials bite your brain? What is happening? We have to break this down because the disrespect toward Caitlin Clark has reached astronomical levels. Like, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm fed up. The Caitlin Clark hate tour has to stop. Let's get serious for a second. Not emotional, not petty, just facts. Before Caitlin Clark, the women's game was good. Nobody's denying that. There were hoopers, there were stars, there were talents. But you know what there wasn't? Viewership, attention, national obsession, record-breaking numbers. None of that existed until Caitlin Clark burst onto the scene like a walking highlight reel combined with a cheat code. She changed everything. Ticket sales, streaming numbers, TV ratings, media coverage, NIL deals, brand contracts, you name it. So for Lexi and Andrea to sit there and say it was the coverage that grew the game, that's blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy. If coverage was all it took, why didn't the game blow up before 2023? ESPN been around, the analysts been around, the camera's been around, but nobody was tapped in. Nobody. Then Caitlin comes along and suddenly arenas are sold out, opponent student sections are lined up 4 hours early, people who have never watched women's basketball are tuning in. The NCAA tournament becomes a cultural event, and now we're supposed to believe that didn't happen because of Caitlin Clark? Come on, man. Miss me with that. And the craziest part, they said it was straight faces. Like the rest of us didn't watch the entire world shift when Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court. This is pure revisionist history, rewriting the story so certain people feel more comfortable. Well, I'm not sugarcoating anything. Caitlin Clark changed women's basketball. Caitlin Clark elevated the sport. Caitlin Clark brought the world in. And acting like she didn't is straight cap. Let's first listen to this.
Commitment to watching women's basketball with the three of us, getting you from one game to the next, explaining what one game means, explaining another matchup, arguing about what's more important. And it was kind of like we were just hanging out with women's college basketball fans.
Literally.
For
that's
like
how it felt.
2 weeks straight. And it blew up and exploded. And that's what led to us being the game day crew and us getting WNBA opportunities. And really, I think they just wanted to keep the three of us together because of the chemistry and the energy that we had in that tournament.
I mean, that tournament wouldn't be that tournament without y'all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. If y'all three were not together covering it, it would not have had the impact or the enjoyment that I think everybody, like, literally, I was on Twitter when I was still on Twitter. Like, yes, people were talking about the games, but like everybody was talking about y'all. Like, it was so much fun to like watch.
It was insane. I remember my mom telling me, "Did you know that they got 3 black girls on ESPN talking about basketball?" And I was like, I didn't even like peep that. And then I think, coming up, because I come from a different background from you, because I always wanted to do media. And so I have their own perspective, their own personality, their own unique thing that they bring to the table. And it was so exciting, especially to see you guys give excellent coverage, but be yourselves. Like, it really felt like you were being yourselves. I think that's what carried with the audience.
Yeah. I think that too. Like, and we're all so different. Like, Elle is a mom and she's the auntie and she's, gonna give references that Chanae and I don't even know. And then Chanae is just like this ball of energy that has so much energy. She's so bright. And then I can like overthink and overanalyze. And we have different voices, different energies, but it just worked so well. We were playing off of each other really well. I will also say, just because I do always try to make sure the players and the games are the focus. Like, the games were also so good. Like, I think if we were, and I think we could have done it just because we get along so well, we can kind of make anything seem exciting. But the fact that we didn't have to fake excitement or fake interest or like pretend games were so good, we just wanted to match that.
Yeah, shit, y'all surpassed it. I remember we were just talking in our last episode. Remember when we used to have one channel for all of the tournament games?
Yes.
And like, you just were lucky if you got 10 minutes of airtime.
Showing this incredible interest in women's basketball. And these are shows that they're going to talk about the hottest topic. That's the point of the show, right? So the sport and being able to see it and take it in from different angles and different ways that I think it's been able to grow. And again, of course, the product being good always helps. Like, we can't sell something that's not good. So it's just a mix of all of that.
My thing is with that tournament in particular, that was a moment. Like, it was insane. Everybody was paying attention. Everybody loved it. And I always wondered, from college, right? It seemed like with women's sports, basketball in particular, people were so willing to digest women's sports in the college format. Like, people were obsessed with it. People were very interested in it. And when that interest sort of carried over into the W on a larger scale, there was this like of new fans. Yep. How do you view that transition from the interest being in college students and why people are so fascinated with those games in particular, and how that transition happens into the W?
I think people are interested in college athletics in particular because, you know, those players are like trying to collectively get themselves to the next level. Like, to me, the best thing about college athletics is that those players are playing like with a goal in mind for their career and their future and their family, and their like the rest of their lives are really determined by those 4 years with that team, or the teams that they end up going to, or what they do in college determines what they're doing at the next level. And so I think that's particularly interesting. Also, I think people are just very connected to the universities. Like, people love their schools. There are very committed fans to the schools. We haven't always seen that at the pro level for women's basketball. We haven't seen, like, some we have, but this is the first time really where I feel like players are being followed from college wherever they go in the W. Like, college fans who attach to these players, which I do give NIL credit, social media credit, like, fans can now, instead of just connecting to UConn or Tennessee or whatever's on the front of the jerseys.
Man, I'm starting to think these three women were drunk when they recorded that segment, because no sober mind could possibly say what I heard come out of Lexi Brown's mouth. Lexi, what you said, that tournament wouldn't be that tournament without y'all? Girl, get the F out of here with that. Yo, what? What? Somebody explain to me how she said that with her whole chest, because I'm genuinely confused. Lexi Brown, yo, I don't know if you were trolling, if you were bored, if someone whispered some nonsense in your ear before the cameras came on, but whatever happened, it wasn't good, it wasn't smart, and it definitely wasn't reality. You're telling me the 2024 NCAA tournament, the one where Caitlin Clark was going full supernova, dropping logo threes like raindrops, carrying Iowa on her back for 2 straight years, you're telling me that tournament wasn't what it was because of Caitlin Clark? Nah. You're telling me it was because of the coverage? Because Andrea Carter and Chinio Gwimke were talking about it? That's the story we sellin'? That's the revisionist history we push in? Stop it right now. Y'all sound desperate. Y'all sound thirsty. Y'all sound like professional haters trying to hand credit to everybody else but the woman who actually lit the world on fire. Because we all know why it was lit. We all know why millions tuned in. We all know why that tournament broke every viewing record in women's basketball history. Caitlin freaking Clark. She wasn't out there dropping cute stats. She wasn't out there playing around. She was going for 30, for 35, for 40-piece triple-doubles. She was out there cooking undefeated South Carolina. She was doing things women's college basketball had never seen before. But suddenly the hype was because of the coverage, the analysts, the desk? Man, miss me with that. This might be one of the most delusional podcasts I've ever witnessed. According to Lexi, if Andrea Carter and Chinio Gwimke weren't covering the tournament, nobody would have been watching Caitlin Clark. Girl, what? The delusion is off the charts. Lexi, you cool, but right now you are delusional. I don't know if sitting next to Cheryl Swoops on that Gills Arena podcast rubbed off the wrong way, but something is off. Something is absolutely off. And then we got Andrea Carter talking about, I always try to make sure the players and the games are the focus. The games were also so good. Yeah, Andrea, the games were good. But let's stop pretending. Let's stop acting like the games were the reason people were tuning in. Caitlin Clark had it lit. She turned the NCAA tournament into primetime TV. She made it feel like a male Final Four. She had the world watching. Not because of who was on commentary, not because of who broke down the film. Hell, it could have been a rock arguing with a leaf calling that game, and it still would have pulled 10 million viewers. It could have been a Budweiser can interviewing a Bud Light bottle, and the ratings would have been the same. Because it wasn't about the coverage. It was about the superstar on the court. Luka was talking about her. Steph Curry was talking about her. LeBron James was talking about her. NFL players were tuning in. Celebrities were tweeting about her. The whole world knew who she was. We didn't need the ESPN desk to tell us that. Now look, you three African-American women doing your thing at ESPN, I salute that. I want y'all to get the bag, stay on TV, keep rising, keep growing. No hate there. But do not, under any circumstances, try to rewrite history and make it seem like the tournament was lit because of y'all. That's not the truth. It's not even close to the truth. Then Mariah added, people were very interested, and when that interest carried into the W, it brought new fans. Yeah, new Caitlin Clark fans. Let's be honest. Let's be grown. Let's be factual. Angel Reese had fans that carried over too, but Caitlin Clark is the one who brought the tsunami of new eyes. But on that podcast, they danced around Caitlin's name like saying it would burn their tongue. They tried to generalize it, spread the credit around to everybody except the one name that actually moved the needle. Meanwhile, Paige Booker's had the third lowest attendance in the league. Angel's Chicago games were half empty. Juju is a star, love her, but USC games ain't selling out. You could find spare change on the bleachers at her games. So who really carried over? Who really brought the numbers? Only Caitlin Clark. But they want to give credit to NIL, social media, coverage, analysts, everybody except the actual person responsible. This is delusion, straight delusion. These shows have lost their marbles. They're up there rewriting history like nobody has the receipts. Caitlin Clark had the world on fire. And trying to give Andrea Carter and crew credit for the NCAA explosion? That's nasty work. Nasty, nasty work. All three of y'all should be ashamed. Trying to give everybody credit except the woman who earned it. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you think about this insanity.